Hey good people, Backpacking Ninja here. This is a review of the Zpacks Arc Air 50 liter DCF fabric pack. This pack has come on 5 trips with me in approximately the last 6 months. The trail conditions that I've used it on vary from very well maintained, such as the Appalachian Trail, to narrow and less maintained, to the Fiery Gizzard in Tennessee, where there are several miles of large boulders that you essentially have to rock hop across. It has also been with me on anywhere from a very steep climb or a very steep descent to smooth, flat terrain. The range of conditions that I've used this pack in are from approximately 20 degrees Fahrenheit up to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I had a non-snowy but winter condition trip, some in-between trips, and then a humid and warm in the, I think it was in the 80s, at least 80, I'm not sure what the high was. So warm and humid summer type trip as well. I have used it to hike anywhere from a few miles in a day to about 17 miles in a day. I have not experienced rain yet while hiking with this pack, so I can't speak to its waterproof features, but I can speak to the general use of the pack. I'm out here on the Freeman Trail just off of the AT near Dahlonega, Georgia. So what about the cost of this pack? The pack itself is $325, and with the add-ons I ended up spending $459. If you get the Bear pack, this pack has very few options in terms of storing things on the outside of the pack. So I opted for one hip belt over here, 2 hip belts over there, a shoulder strap, and a side pocket to give me a lot of outside storage. Not because I necessarily wanted extra volume. This 50 liter pack is plenty for me. I just don't want to necessarily have to open up the main compartment when I'm on the trail. It just gives me a lot more versatility. You can see I've got it set up with a Bear canister on top. I've got the Y strap that is a $10 add-on to hold the Bear canister. I haven't been hiking with the Bear canister inside the pack. I've tried it that way, and I find it more comfortable if I put it on the outside with the Y strap. I've also got a couple of other add-ons here. You can see this side pocket here. I've got my cook kit inside there. This is a 0.9 liter Evernew pot in its pot cozy, and it just barely fits in this add-on top pouch side pocket. I have to squeeze in the cozy a little bit. You can get a 1.3 liter in there, but that's a really tough fit. And then it has 2 side pockets for water bottles or taller items like umbrella. Maybe you have a trekking pole that comes apart, or maybe you have tent poles. What I've got in these pockets right now is on this side, I've just got a 0.7 liter smart water bottle. On the other side, similar. The pocket is the same, just symmetric with the other side. And in there I've got a 1 liter smart water bottle type bottle. This isn't a smart water bottle, but it's a similar one. And then I've got a 20 ounce Gatorade bottle. When you're hiking with these pockets, you can access them on the go, just reaching behind you to get your water bottle out. If we turn the pack around here, just going through the add-ons that I've got on this pack again, I've got 2 of the hip belt pouches, 1 on each side. These are each a 1 liter capacity, and they are voluminous. If anything, they're almost a little too big. I can tend to lose things inside them a little bit. You can see on this one that right here would normally be the Zpacks logo, which is on this one, but I have taken it off of the one because it was just catching a little bit on my shirt, and the sides of the logo just are a little bit stiff and they're a sharp square corner. So I took that one off because it was catching on my shirt on my prior hike, and then on this hike I did have some catching of the right one, so I'll be taking that one off too. These pouches are taped on the inside, so So when you're undoing this stitching, if you're really careful, you can maintain that stitching on the inside and the tape on the inside to maintain their water resistance. They do have a waterproof zipper attached to them. These zippers work pretty well. I find that if I get the zippers in the right position, I can open them with one hand, but they are stiff enough that oftentimes you need two hands to open these pouches. And then the last add-on I have is this shoulder pouch. This will fit a smart water bottle sized bottle, although it's not really tall enough for the tall ones. I wouldn't recommend one of those, but they would fit inside. I keep my Garmin InReach Mini in there and my headlamp, and then I attach a little whistle to the outside of it. And then in this front part is where I keep my phone, which I'm filming on right now, so you can't see it in there, but that fits in here. With only my headlamp and my InReach Mini, it fits in here really well. But if I try to pack this pouch, then this outside pocket really doesn't work very well for a phone. The pack comes with a Lycra stretch front pouch right here. You can put a lot of gear in here. There are some packs of this style that come with a pouch that looks like it's bigger. So let me show you what I've got in here. And now I got my sunglasses in there. I have my sit pad. This is an 1/8 inch Vasto foam pad. I've got a map in a Ziploc bag, boot kit. I carry a Polycro ground cloth. I typically do not use this as a ground cloth. This is more of an emergency piece of rain gear for me. There was no rain expected on this trip, so I don't have any rain gear with me. And then I've got my stakes for my tent in here. And I've got my wallet and keys for the car. Then coming back up to the main part of the pack, you can see that the Y-strap here attaches to this tab for the bear canister. And you just undo that and you take out your bear canister. And then on the side of the pack, I'm using these clips on the side, which are they can be used as compression straps to compress a little bit on the side. I don't find them very useful for compression. They do help me compress down vertically, but horizontally, even though they do zigzag from this corner to this corner up to here, I don't find them useful for compression in that direction. Just vertically to pull things down where I have my bear canister sitting. There's one of those on each side, and you can use that to close the top of the pack. And then this is just a roll top pack. It's got a gross grain pull tab here, one on each side to easily open the main compartment. And then on the inside of that is a Velcro strip. I personally don't like this Velcro strip because it catches on my clothing when I'm loading things in and out. So I wish it just had a single button in the middle to hold it together. But it comes with the Velcro. And if you have this rolled up and you don't want to clip it onto these side parts, you can clip it to itself. Just tuck it under that way. I typically like to clip it onto the side pouches. I feel that way the rain will just run off the pack a little more easily. And then inside here, there is, I think this is about either a 35 or 38 liter main compartment. So in there I've got my, right now I've got a couple pieces of warm clothing that I was wearing this morning. I've got my puffy. I've got my tent. This happens to be a duplex that I keep in there. And then I've got my sleep clothes and my sleeping bag inside of one of these Nylofume bags inside there. So I can take those out just to show you how they press in here. The socks, the sleeping bag, the sleeping pad, warm sleeve clothes, inflation bag, pillow. That should be it. Okay, so let's talk about the weight of this pack. This is roughly a 21 ounce pack without the add-ons. With the add-ons, mine comes to about 24.5 ounces. This pack did come in about 0.5, 0.6 ounces over the specifications that Zpacks has on their website. I have the small sized hip belt. I've got a 31 inch waist. So the small is just big enough for me. And then I have the medium size torso positioning on the frame here that it came with. So this is medium frame, small hip belt, and all of that for just over 24 ounces with the add-ons. Another thing we should talk about is the quality of the manufacturing, the stitching on this pack. So some people have complained that Zpacks stitching seems unprofessional. They don't have straight lines, their cuts aren't straight. I found this pack very well put together. The stitching in general is very solid, very straight, very professional. They use cross stitching and double stitching on high compression areas, such as on this tab here for the bare canister. Same thing on where you have attachments for the shoulder strap, the hip belt. So everywhere on this pack I found the stitching to be of high quality except for one point, and that is right here where the attachment of the Lycra stretch pocket on the front meets the side of the pack. And especially on the side on my left right now, over here, your right, this point right here, this just has a V stitch. So here's a little closer view of that V stitch and the pull on that there. I'll have to monitor that and see how it lasts. There's a little bit of a loose thread on it, and it just looks like it's under more stress than I would want it to be. This one right here has the type of stitching I would expect it to have. It is a significant pressure on it, so we'll see how that lasts over time with the fabric, but the stitching is quality. So actually I do see a little bit of wear on this stretch mesh for this pocket here. You can see some fibers a little bit loose there. So I am seeing a little bit of wear there, and then not on the pack itself, but on the other add-on where I put my phone. I've had this pocket a little bit overstuffed, making it difficult to get my phone in and out. It's been really easy today, but I am seeing a little bit of wear on that. We'll see how long that lasts. All right, so I've got the pack on here. You can see on the hip belt that it has a Y strap with two attachment points here, or kind of a V or Y. And then each one is adjustable. You can pull them tighter, loosen them up from these two attachments on each side. And then it has about a 1-inch buckle. And you can tighten that up. Like I say, for me, this is the small hip belt is, for me, comfortable, just wide enough. So make sure you are careful on that sizing so you don't have too wide of a gap here for this buckle putting pressure in your belly area. It also comes with a sternum strap. Just attaches there. I don't keep any pressure on that. I found it to be pretty convenient. Useful position. It is sewed on. For other add-ons, I did move the position of this shoulder pouch from where they had it. They had it a little bit lower. I moved it up 1 or 2 notches for this daisy chain here. But you could attach an umbrella onto this daisy chain as well if you wanted to walk with an umbrella. The padding on the shoulder straps is 3/8 inch thick, and then it has this, they call it a 3D mesh with a tricot lining on the inside, and then outside is some kind of nylon material. I found these to be comfortable. If I tighten them up too much and I'm sweating a lot, I found this material on the shoulder pad can rub you a little bit in the shoulder, in the collarbone area for me. That would depend on your fit. And I've found a similar thing with the hip belt Sometimes as I'm walking along, if I don't have myself adjusted properly, my shirt will ride up. Once my shirt comes up, then the belt is directly on me. And during one hike, I had the belt for these pants underneath the hip belt too much, and it was compressing it against me. I ended up with a little kind of chafing, tiny little thread of a scab that went around my hips to that. So I've since been wearing my pants to ride a little lower in my fit. But with this material, if you get the right fit, I find it to be very comfortable. But you do have to be careful. I find this pack to come on and off pretty easily. You need to undo the sternum strap and then of course your hip belt. And it does have an adjustable position for the shoulder straps. So let me show you that. So these shoulder straps are on kind of a conveyor belt system where you can adjust them up and down. Turns out the way it came for me, the shoulder straps just come over my shoulders the way I like it. So I didn't need to adjust it, but you can adjust this several inches up and down for your shoulder strap position. And then the hip belt is removable. If you want to remove the hip belt, you can do that. You could either change the size of your hip belt, wear it without a hip belt, whatever you like to do. They also sell an additional pad on the back here for the lumbar support. I have read that some people find this narrow, approximately 5 or 6 inch width for how the frame transfers the load to your hips to be different than what they're used to. Now, this is pretty similar to what I was used to when I had an internal frame in an older pack, so it hasn't bothered me, but you can buy an additional lumbar pad if this support doesn't feel right for you. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the fabric on this pack. This is the DCF version of the pack, so this is a Dyneema composite fabric. This is 3.1 ounce per square yard in thickness. Dyneema itself has a fairly low puncture resistance, so putting it on the ground in an area where there will be sharp pine cones or needles or cacti or things like that might be of a concern in this pack. I tend to be pretty careful with my gear, so for my use so far, this pack is looking like it's brand new after about 10 days of use. We'll see how it goes in the long term. I do feel confident enough that I can do this review and speak to you about the quality of this fabric as you begin to use the pack, and I find it to be sturdy, thick, easy to use. It's a little bit noisier than some other fabrics, but that's not a problem when you're walking. And they use that same fabric for the side pockets on each side for the main body of the pack, and then the part that goes against your body. This is an external frame pack, so it transfers the weight to your hips on the hip belt. I tend to carry this pack with very little weight on my shoulders and almost all of the weight transferred to the hip belt. This trip I had 15.3 pounds in here without my water, although with my food, and so I was carrying up to about 18 pounds. The external frame on this pack is made of carbon fiber. It has 3 cross stays, one at the top, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. The 2 stays on the side are a sort of rectangular cross-section stay. They're about 1/4 inch on a side and run down the length of the pack. These are sewn in. These are not intended to be removable or adjustable as the stays in the older Z-Pack models. So let me show you those stays. The one on the top here you can see very thin. A thicker cross section in this direction, very thin front to back. And then you can see just in the corner of the pack here that you could take these stays out if you wanted to do so, or replace them if they were damaged. If you pack your sleeping bag or your other material into this pack and really stuff it in, you can have the material bulge out so that you don't get the airflow onto your back. This is a curved carbon fiber stay on each side, And the idea for that is to create that arc, hence the name of the pack. The whole arc series from Zpacks is well known for that, in order to create airflow to your back. And the way I have it set up today, I've had excellent airflow, very little buildup of sweat on my back, and not too much contact. But I have packed it more full on a winter trip where I had 2 sleeping bags in here. And if you do that, then this part here, I would say about a 6 maybe by 8 inch part of the pack was flat against my back. And if you're walking in warmer weather and you had that stuffed, then you might find that you're not getting the airflow that's advertised. So there you have it. That's my review of the Zpacks Arc Air 50 liter DCF pack.